The moment that bullet appeared outside Casey's house, everything changed. Because now this is no longer just about law, duty, or survival. Now it's personal. And if you thought episode 3 was intense, episode 4 is about to cross a line that can't be undone. Episode 4 begins with a feeling that something is deeply wrong. Not loud, not explosive at first, but heavy like a storm building in silence. Casey is not the same anymore. That warning left at his door is not just a threat, it's a message. Someone out there knows him, understands him, and wants him gone. And the most dangerous part is, Casey doesn't know who it is yet. But you can feel it, he's already preparing for war. At the same time, the pressure around him is getting worse. The use of force complaint is now becoming a serious problem. What used to be seen as heroic decisions are now being questioned. Every move Casey made in the past is slowly turning into evidence against him. And this creates a powerful internal conflict. Because for Casey, there has never been a clear line between right and wrong. There is only survival. But now, survival might cost him everything, his badge, his team, and even his freedom. The team is also starting to feel the weight of all this. There's tension, quiet but strong. Not because they don't trust Casey, but because they are afraid of what might happen next. They know he is capable of going too far if pushed. And now, with someone actively targeting him, that pressure is pushing him closer to the edge. Every decision he makes in episode 4 feels sharper, riskier, like one wrong move could destroy everything. But what truly makes this episode feel different is the mission itself. The helicopter crash changes everything. It's not just another operation. It throws Casey and Pete into a situation where control no longer exists. Deep in the wilderness, far away from backup, rules don't matter anymore. It becomes raw survival. And this is where we start to see a different side of both characters. Pete, especially, feels more fragile than before. That moment in episode 3 where he secretly took a pill, it wasn't just a small detail. It was a warning. Something inside him is not stable. And now, in this dangerous environment, that hidden struggle could become a real problem. Because when you're facing life and death, your mind needs to be stronger than ever. And Pete might not be ready for what's coming. Casey, on the other hand, becomes even more focused, but also more dangerous. He's not just trying to save survivors anymore. He's trying to prove something to himself, to his team, and maybe even to the person who threatened him. That he is not weak. That he cannot be broken. But this mindset comes with a cost. Because the more aggressive he becomes, the more he risks losing control. And then comes the biggest tension of all, the unknown danger in the forest. It's not just about the crash. It's not just about survival. There's something else out there. Something unpredictable. The kind of threat that doesn't follow rules, doesn't give warnings. And when Casey and Pete are pushed into that moment, everything will depend on trust, instinct, and timing. Because in episode 4, one thing becomes very clear. Not everyone will walk out the same. 0 messages left with our most powerful model. Upgrade for more. Upgrade. As the forest becomes their battleground, the true intensity of episode 4 unfolds. Casey and Pete are no longer simply lawmen. They are two people stripped of their usual tools and support, forced to rely solely on their instincts. The wilderness itself becomes a character in this story, cold, unpredictable, and unforgiving. Every step they take, every sound in the trees, every shadow could hide a threat. The helicopter crash isn't just a plot device, it's a pressure cooker. It forces them into a high-stakes environment where every decision carries weight, and every hesitation could be fatal. This is the first time viewers see Casey navigating a situation that can't be solved with procedure or authority, only with courage and quick thinking. Meanwhile, back at the command center, the rest of the team is racing against time. The use of force complaint has escalated, and Casey's colleagues are caught in a delicate balance, proving his innocence without stepping over lines themselves. The tension here is subtle but relentless. Each phone call, each piece of evidence analyzed, each strategic move creates suspense. The team's struggle mirrors Casey's physical ordeal in the wilderness, emphasizing the broader stakes. They're fighting not only for survival but also for justice in a world that is increasingly questioning them. Every choice matters, and failure could have consequences that ripple far beyond this episode. One of the most gripping elements in this part of the story is how episode 4 dives deeper into character dynamics. Casey and Pete's bond strengthens under pressure. Moments of vulnerability are juxtaposed with flashes of ingenuity, creating a complex emotional landscape. When Pete falters, Casey doesn't hesitate. He protects, guides, and pushes him, not just as a partner but as a friend who understands the fragility of human resolve. This relationship becomes central to the suspense. Viewers are drawn into every heartbeat, every near miss, every small victory or setback. It's not just action, it's psychological tension layered with deep human connection. The wilderness challenges also amplify the unpredictability of danger. When the bear encounter occurs, it's not just a physical threat, it's a symbol of the uncontrollable forces that surround Casey and Pete. The struggle isn't only with the animal but also with fear, doubt, and the instinct to survive. Each movement must be precise, each decision calculated. One wrong step could mean catastrophe. This creates an edge-of-your-seat scenario that keeps viewers glued to the story, breathing every moment with the characters. The suspense is relentless, building toward a climax that feels both inevitable and shocking. At the same time, Episode 4 continues to unravel the mystery surrounding the bullet left at Casey's home. Hints drop through subtle interactions and small discoveries. The identity of the person targeting Casey remains elusive, yet the tension is palpable. It's no longer just about law enforcement or protocol. It's about survival and uncovering a hidden adversary. Every character now feels like a possible suspect, and even familiar faces could have hidden motives. This uncertainty elevates the suspense, making the stakes feel personal and immediate. The audience is constantly questioning, theorizing, and anticipating what could happen next. Episode 4 also uses timing masterfully. Action sequences are interspersed with moments of quiet intensity. Silent forests, glances exchanged, footsteps in the snow. These pauses aren't just filler. They heighten tension and give weight to the chaos when it erupts. Every heartbeat, every shadow, every distant sound contributes to a feeling that danger is omnipresent. The pacing forces the audience to remain alert, mirroring the characters' own heightened senses. Suspense isn't only built through obvious threats, but through anticipation, the fear of what might emerge at any moment. Meanwhile, secondary characters continue to develop, adding depth to the unfolding narrative. Each team member's reaction to the escalating situations reveals motivations, loyalties, and vulnerabilities. The interpersonal drama runs parallel to the survival plot, creating a layered story where personal stakes and external dangers collide. Even small actions, a phone call, a hesitant glance, a whispered warning, carry meaning and increase tension. This complexity keeps the audience invested not just in the survival plot, but also in the characters' emotional journeys, ensuring that the episode resonates on multiple levels. Finally, as Episode 4 pushes toward its climax, the dual threads of survival and investigation intertwine. Casey's physical confrontations, the ongoing wilderness threats, and the mystery of who wants him dead all converge. Every decision carries consequences that could affect not just the immediate situation, but the entire trajectory of the season. The suspense becomes multidimensional. Physical danger, moral dilemmas, and the relentless ticking clock of unseen enemies. Viewers are left questioning who will make it through unscathed, who might falter, and what revelation will finally turn the tide. Episode 4 doesn't just deliver action. It delivers psychological intensity, emotional depth, and a sense that nothing is as simple as it seems. As Episode 4 reaches its peak, the tension between the wilderness challenges and the unseen threat at Casey's home comes to a head. Every heartbeat in the forest feels synchronized with the ticking clock of the mystery. Someone wants Casey gone, but who and why? This looming threat colors every action he takes, making even the smallest decisions loaded with consequence. The audience feels that weight, sensing that any misstep could be fatal, and that suspense keeps them glued to the narrative. The episode skillfully blends action and psychological tension, ensuring that survival isn't just physical. It's also mental, emotional, and strategic. The bear encounter, a pivotal moment in the forest, isn't just about brute force. It's about the mental and emotional state of both Casey and Pete. Panic, fear, and instinct clash with experience, trust, and resilience. Each movement is calculated, each decision critical. Pete's vulnerabilities come to the forefront here. His previous struggles, hinted at in Episode 3, now threaten to compromise both of them. Casey's role as a protector is tested like never before, not only against external danger, but also against the fragility of his teammates' confidence. The suspense is relentless because success isn't guaranteed, and the stakes couldn't be higher. Meanwhile, the investigation into the use of force complaint adds a parallel tension that keeps the audience invested on multiple fronts. While Casey fights for survival in the forest, his colleagues are fighting a battle in the bureaucratic world, proving his innocence, navigating protocols, and shielding him from internal threats. This dual narrative raises the stakes exponentially. The audience is constantly shifting between physical danger and legal jeopardy, creating a rhythm of suspense that mirrors the intensity of the characters' experiences. Each thread is interconnected, and the payoff of one affects the other. Secondary characters also play crucial roles in amplifying tension and suspense. Bell and other team members contribute indirectly to the unfolding drama, whether through intelligence gathering, emotional support, or strategic decisions. Their actions add depth and complexity, showing how survival and danger aren't experienced by one person alone. The interconnectedness of the characters creates a layered narrative that makes every decision and every interaction meaningful. Suspense is enhanced because even those who seem safe are part of a larger web where danger could strike anywhere, at any time. Episode 4 also deepens the personal stakes for Casey. The bullet left at his door isn't just a threat, it's a psychological weapon. Every shadow, every unexpected sound, every encounter is now colored by paranoia and heightened awareness. Viewers feel this tension, and it adds another dimension to the narrative. Survival is no longer only about external dangers, but also about internal vigilance and mental endurance. Casey's character growth is evident here. He is forced to confront not only physical threats, but also the emotional weight of knowing someone wants him dead. This duality of threat makes the episode compelling and suspenseful. The climax of episode 4 is carefully constructed to maximize suspense. The survival sequence, the unresolved threat at Casey's home, and the ongoing investigation converge at critical moments, creating a crescendo of tension. Every heartbeat, every choice, every small victory and setback contributes to the feeling that nothing is safe and that the story could go in any direction. The pacing is deliberate, ensuring that viewers remain on edge while allowing the narrative to breathe in moments of reflection, strategy, and character insight. By the end of episode 4, viewers are left with a heightened sense of anticipation. The forest ordeal resolves in a way that demonstrates both triumph and continued risk, while the overarching mystery of who wants Casey dead remains unresolved. The use of force complaint is temporarily managed, but the implications remain, keeping viewers aware that challenges will continue to follow Casey beyond this single episode. Emotional tension, suspense, and anticipation for future episodes are all amplified, leaving the audience hungry for the next chapter. Ultimately, Episode 4 of Marshals succeeds because it merges high-stakes action with deep psychological tension and character-driven drama. Casey and Pete's survival story is thrilling, but it is the combination of personal threat, interpersonal dynamics, and unanswered questions that creates a truly compelling narrative. Viewers experience suspense not just through external action, but through the internal dilemmas, loyalties, and moral ambiguities the characters navigate. The episode is designed to leave audiences thinking, theorizing, and emotionally invested long after it ends. As the screen fades, the unresolved questions remain. Who left the bullet? Will Casey be able to anticipate his enemy's next move? How will his relationships with his team evolve under the weight of constant danger? Episode 4 doesn't just deliver action. It delivers a layered, suspenseful, and emotionally charged narrative that sets the stage for an intense continuation of the season. Viewers are left with the certainty that the next episode will be even more explosive, even more personal, and even more impossible to predict. Every element, from survival in the wilderness to political and legal pressures, intertwines to create a story that is as gripping as it is suspenseful, ensuring that Marshals continues to command attention and keep audiences on the edge of their seats.